As in previous briefings, I am joined today by the National Disaster Coordinator, Mr. Steve Cusham, and via phone, we have the Bermuda Weather Service meteorologist, Ms. Michelle Pitcher. Hurricane Fiona, a Category 4 storm, continues its track towards the island and remains a threat to Bermuda. As of the noon forecast, Bermuda is under a tropical storm warning and hurricane watch. Earlier today, we convened an emergency measures organization meeting to get the latest updates on Hurricane Fiona. At this time, I will turn it over to Ms. Michelle Pitcher for a weather briefing based on the 12 noon forecast. Michelle?
Thank you, Minister. Good afternoon, everybody. The latest advisory released at 12 noon has Fiona currently 588 nautical miles to the southwest of Bermuda. Fiona is a Category 4 hurricane and is expected to remain a Category 4 hurricane as it passes Bermuda early Friday morning. The latest closest point of approach is forecast to be 102 nautical miles to the northwest at 6 a.m. on Friday. Category 4 Hurricane Fiona is expected to give us strong tropical storm force winds. We expect winds to start arriving later Thursday evening, with the strongest winds occurring at the height of the storm, which would be closest to the closest point of approach. We could also briefly experience a short window of sustained hurricane force winds, which would be up to 65 knots sustained with gusts to 80 knots. Due to the proximity of Fiona, these winds would especially be in the western marine area, western parishes, and any elevated or exposed places. We also must remember in the rain bands associated with Fiona, there could be squalls and isolated thunderstorms. These too can bring hurricane force gusts, if not near hurricane force sustained winds at times. Fiona is also expected to have more of a wave and surge impact to Bermuda than we have seen this year with Tropical Storm Alex and Hurricane Earl. These are forecast to be up to 45 feet in the western marine area. Coastal flooding is also expected with a surge of 1 meter or 3 feet. Low-lying areas that are prone to flooding and experience flooding during Earl will likely see the same effects, if not more. We also have high tide at 7:35 a.m. Friday morning, which is just after the closest point of approach, and this can also contribute to the surge effects. The surge will affect all parts of the island, while the southern beaches will be most affected by the wind waves and swell generated from Fiona. Fiona will also be interacting with a cold front and evolving into an extratropical cyclone soon after her closest point of approach. So we will likely see the tropical storm force winds, rain bands, and high seas lingering a few hours longer than what we saw for Hurricane Earl 2 weeks ago. Precipitation forecast is expected to be 2 to 4 inches. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. So Bermuda, considering this latest information, I want to stress that public safety is key. Our emergency personnel will be mobilized to provide the most effective response during and after the storm. Based on the current forecast, we can expect deteriorating weather conditions late Thursday afternoon into the evening. As it relates to public services, at this stage, here's what I can advise. Government offices will be open tomorrow, Thursday, September 22nd, and government services will operate as normal until 5 p.m. The causeway remains open, but will be closely monitored by the Ministry of Public Works. All schools will be in session tomorrow, Thursday, September 26th, for the full day. However, all public schools will be closed Friday, September 23rd. As relates to public transportation, the updates are as follows. Based on the current forecast, on Thursday, September 22nd, the last bus will be at 9 p.m. and the service will stand on at 10 p.m. Resumption of the bus service will be dependent on the roads being given the all clear. our ferry service. The pink route, that's Hamilton, Paget, and Warwick. The last ferry will depart Hamilton at 4 p.m. on Thursday, September 22nd. The blue and green ferry route, that's Hamilton to Dockyard. The last ferry departs Hamilton at 4:10 p.m. Thursday, September 22nd. The airport remains open, and some flights are scheduled as normal. We have been advised, however, that the Air Canada flight for Friday has been brought forward to Thursday. As always, as it relates to flights, I encourage travelers to contact their respective airlines to stay abreast of the latest flight information. Airport officials will monitor the facility during the storm and carry out an assessment of their operations following the passage of Hurricane Fiona. Turning to our beaches. As you heard from Michelle, this storm will cause significant above normal surf and surge. The ocean and maritime conditions will be very dangerous. The Parks Department will post high surf warning signs along our public beaches and parks from Somerset through to Cooper's Island. My public safety message to residents, visitors, daredevils, boaters, and thrill seekers is simple. Stay out of the water. Please don't put your lives and the lives of our lifeguards and emergency responders at risk. In a similar vein, because of the surf and surge conditions associated with Fiona, we are anticipating some challenges for those living in low-lying coastal areas. For those who normally experience storm surge and flooding during hurricanes, they can expect to see the same for Hurricane Fiona. Regarding trash collecting, here's what I can advise. I am reminding residents not to put their garbage out on Friday, as there will be no trash collection. As a reminder, Wednesday's waste is being collected tomorrow due to the holiday earlier this week, and there will be no collection on Friday. In the past few weeks, against the backdrop of an active hurricane season, we have been urging residents to get storm ready. Yesterday, we were asked by a member of the media, what do we say to people who are fatigued by the preparedness messages? Well, quite simply, Bermuda has been successful in navigating serious storms, in part thanks to being ready and prepared. Hurricane Fiona is a serious Category 4 storm. It should be taken seriously. The reality is that our hurricane seasons in recent years have been getting busier and more active. Storms, by their very nature, are very unpredictable. One of the best defenses we have is to make sure that we have what we need to get through these events. I know that going through a serious storm can cause considerable anxiety for our residents, but I have confidence and faith that residents will heed the warnings and advisories to ensure that they and their loved ones remain safe. Finally, I want to extend my thanks and appreciation to all our member agencies in the EMO for their tireless work and dedication. To all of Bermuda, please continue to stay safe. Please continue to look out for and take care of one another. Lastly, we have another EMO meeting at 10 a.m. tomorrow, followed by a press conference at 1 p.m., where all the final details will be announced based on the latest forecast. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. At this time, I'd like to invite members of the media to come forward and ask their questions of the Minister of the National Disaster Coordinator. And specifically for weather queries, please direct them to Ms. Michelle Pitcher. Eloisa, did you want to start us off?
So this would probably be directed to the Bermuda Weather Service. The Doppler radar has been down since the weekend. So it's not been updated, and the service is one of the main ways that residents can see rain bands, squalls, and hurricanes. Why is it down during peak hurricane season, and wouldn't this be considered to be technology upon which we rely to stay updated on the storm's path?
Yes, thank you for the question. So there is a technical issue with the Doppler radar that is a bit of an unusual one. I can assure you that our air traffic engineering technicians with the Airport Authority are continuing to work with the manufacturer and continuing to troubleshoot and find a workaround for this problem. Of course, the timing of this challenge is not ideal. But however, please be assured that even in the absence of an operational weather radar, this does not significantly affect the ability of the Bermuda Weather Service to provide accurate weather forecasts to the public. We have a large array of satellite-based imagery, observational instruments, and flight reconnaissance, and weather balloon data, and numerous modeling tools that we routinely use. And we, of course, are in constant communication with the National Hurricane Center to support our reporting of the hurricane activity, and as well to the emergency stakeholders and the wider public. And then, of course, we have our hardworking team of meteorological technicians and forecasters at the post 24/7 to continue to bring the island the most accurate and up-to-date information.
Would you be able to update us on what steps are then being taken to get the Doppler radar back online?
Yes, the steps that are being taken are what I had mentioned previously. Our air traffic engineering technicians are working with the manufacturer and are continuing to troubleshoot it. I'm afraid I can't give you the exact parts and wires technical information, as that is a bit beyond me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Eloisa. Eloisa from Bermuda Broadcasting. Our next question is from Mr. Trevor Lindsay from TNN.
Thank you and good afternoon. This is for the personnel at the weather station. Is there, being a very large storm, is there any possibility that this storm might come even closer than what is being predicted today?
Thank you. The National Hurricane Center track forecast, while it has been adjusted a little bit east and west over the past 24 hours, has remained fairly steady, and we have very high confidence that Fiona will continue along the track that has been forecast.
Thank you. For you, Minister, we have a large senior population. What might you say to those seniors that live alone, that have to deal with this element to give them some type of security or comfortability?
Well, actually, thanks for that question, Trevor. What I would rather say than to the seniors is to the other residents to look out for your seniors. Look out for those that are most vulnerable. And if any senior needs any assistance, please reach out. There are government services available to assist. But I stress that we have to look out for our neighbor.
Thank you, Trevor, for your questions. Now we have Owen from the Royal Gazette. Owen?
Yes, good afternoon. Do we have any idea how long Bermuda is going to be experiencing tropical storm force conditions? Obviously, the onset is supposed to be late tomorrow, but when is that supposed to conclude?
We can roughly estimate that we'll probably be under tropical storm force conditions 12 to 18 hours.
Now, I guess this one would be more for Mr. Caution, Mr. Weeks. Have we had any update as far as when or if government buildings will open on Friday? Obviously, we're getting the worst of the storm theoretically on Friday morning.
Well, we're having another EMO meeting tomorrow, which will be closer to the actual storm itself, so we'll be more definitive as to when government will reopen.
But should people anticipate that the government building will probably be closed, at least in the morning?
Until the roads are deemed all clear, yeah.
And similarly, I'm guessing we'll hear tomorrow about if the emergency shelter will be open?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Elliot. So if there are no more questions, that concludes our media briefing today. I want to thank our participants for showing up. Thank you, members of the media. Thank you, Minister Weeks. Thank you, Mr. Cosham. And certainly thank you, Bermuda Weather Service, Michelle Pitcher, for your presentations today. That concludes our media briefing. Please stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.